Hello, welcome to my second video. After last week, which was my first video of uploading, I have actually completed a junk journal. So I'll just do this as a bit of a flip through really. I did a fabric cover and just backed it with some scrapbook paper card stock. Put a crochet trim down the spine. It is a retirement gift for somebody who's leaving work. Obviously their name begins with J, so I decided to use a lexicon letter card for that. And I've just put some cheesecloth, various fabrics, coffee dyed paper. I have put some eyelets in for the sari silk closure. Inside you can see the scrapbook paper. I've tried to get everything to coordinate. I made a little cluster there and I've just made a little tuck spot here. I've put various tags in. I love the sentiment of this for someone who's leaving. Memory lovingly stores away our souvenirs of yesterday, and I thought that was perfect. I found this greeting card at an antique fair, which I think was from 1936, and all I've done there is popped in an insert and popped my own little note in to her. And as she is leaving work, I couldn't resist buying this antique photo. I really don't know how old this is, but there is an image of a nurse on there, and I just thought that was just lovely. It is very, very old. And that's all just on some coffee dyed paper. Going in, there's just a little flip up there, and I did a little bit of light stenciling here. Again, all coffee dyed paper there. This was from an antique book. I just liked this. I felt the images, the colouring went quite well with the theme, which is botanical, floral, nature. This is just a fabric flip that I made with plenty of papers underneath for journaling. I used Patricia Viramonte's idea here for a little book folding, printed off a guest check, and a little crochet trim for a fabric page tab. I also, at another antique fair, found these cigarette cards, and I loved that just with the hydrangea on. Felt that went well. Made a little envelope. I can't remember which DigiKit this was from. There's nothing in there, but obviously she'll be able to pop things in. Another image. It might have been Artie Mays. I can't remember. I will link down below the various people I've had the inspiration from, and that's just got some lined paper on the back. And again, coffee dyed paper. I've sewn a fabric flip here. Another printed DigiKit image that I've then sewn around and just backed it onto some brown paper for more journaling space. Coffee dyed a doily on top of this old vintage gardening book. I just thought that image looked lovely. And I love the back of that page. This is some ledger paper. This is not vintage, but I did coffee dye it to try and age it a bit. Again, crochet trim just to pop things in if she wants to. And then going over the page, just paper clipped, printed out this little envelope, coffee dyed it, and there's just a little tag in there. Thought that was quite sweet, and obviously just paper clipped that onto there. Some scrapbook paper here. I did make a little coffee dyed fabric ruffle here, and just a paper ruffle rather, and just hand sewn some crosses on there. Did a little stamping on the back of this coffee dyed envelope, and just did some printing DigiKits. Made a little cluster out of trim, more cheesecloth, some script and a button. This is another printed image, just did that as a little fold out, so there's plenty of space there to journal. And made the back of the envelope as a little tuck spot. This is from a vintage I Spy book, and just because it was birds, I felt that went quite well with this theme. Did another fabric flip here, just put together some pieces of fabric that I just quite liked, I thought went well together. And then obviously a whole page there for journaling. Turning over, this is another Patricia Viramonte's idea of a book page. Popped a little fabric piece there just for interest, and I've inked around. This is actually a wallpaper sample that I had, and I thought that again went quite nice with the theme. Some vintage music paper. This is from a 1940s book. I just like the aged look on that, the yellowing crochet trim. Made a fabric pocket here and just popped some other tags in. This might have been Artie Mae's, again I've forgotten, but anybody I've used I will link down below. Some more printables, made that into a little tag and inked the edges, and another one there just ready for journaling on. Made that out of the gardening book again and just popped a little label on there. This is Yvonne Preston's idea. I've seen it on her videos, and it's just a little flip ups for some secret journaling. Bingo card, I've glued some buttons on, just paper clipped it on, and obviously there's plenty of journaling space there. A little fabric tab there, page tab. Another Patricia Viramontes idea, but I did change this because I decided to put some fabric on there, and I literally just folded some coffee dyed paper up and popped some lace trim on. This is a printable of a buttons card, and I then popped 6 little buttons on there, stuck that on there so that it's a useful little flip out really for some journaling. Another printable, plenty of journaling space in here, but at the same time I wanted it embellished enough that it was interesting. I made a fabric ruffle just down the page there. This is the centre of the signature. It is only a one signature journal, so obviously it's quite chunky, but I quite like that look. I did a 3-hole pamphlet stitch in the middle and just did some little cutouts of leaves out of scrapbook paper just for added interest in the centre. Made a little cluster here. Going into the second half of the book, did some printables, made it into a tag and used some more sari silk, and another sheet of wallpaper there, just inside a little tab. This was a printable and just a little tag for more journaling, lace trim. This I think was Patricia Viramontes' idea again, just a page folding with obviously 2 tuck spot places. I made this out of, instead of cutting these up, I just left them as one long strip, popped a little cluster on, coffee dyed paper, and I thought that made quite a nice little journal card, and an old vintage library card image. Next page, another page as a tab, and I just stenciled on here with some Tim Holtz ink, old various ephemera there. Paper clipped another of those cigarette cards on there, I quite like that, and although the stenciling had come through from the other page, I quite like that look and I feel it goes with the journal. More tabs. This was from a Weetabix bird book. Again, I don't know how old that was, somebody said 1960s but I'm not sure. Coffee dyed the back so it's journaling space, and popped a tab in there, and again this page has got a fabric tab. More stenciling on this page, more of the book, music book from the 1940s, I think it was 1949. Made a lace belly band here and just popped in a DigiKit image that I'd coffee dyed the back of. This is another wallpaper sample that I just turned into a little envelope really, and then another sample of wallpaper that I've used a flip up, flip down tag, just really so that there's plenty of journaling space. Another lace edge. Patricia Viramontes' idea again, just folded back a book page and then I've machine stitched around that and printed off another card. That's the other side of the I Spy vintage book, bird book. Coffee dyed some squared paper. This is another wallpaper sample I had, just makes a nice tuck spot. More wallpaper here, I've just turned that into a little pocket really for another library card, which I just love those. Scrapbooking paper. I've just popped on a coffee dyed envelope. I did stitch the little rose, I just felt it went quite well with this background. Made a little fabric ruffle there. Just another little piece of sewing here, the practice of stitching. I like how that page has come out. These are little jars that I've printed off, put onto cardboard, and it makes a really nice little tuck spot. That's more of the vintage gardening book. This is another printable, and I've just made that with plenty of paper underneath for journaling. And again, I did sew the J, again just because I did want this as a personalised journal for this lady. Little lace tab there. tag that I've just popped some fabric on and again machine stitched around and just stapled some crochet trim at the top. This is the other side of that vintage book, and on this I've just used coffee dyed paper, made a little cluster, and this again is flipped down so there's plenty of journaling space on that. And the last page again, just practice handwriting paper that I've aged with coffee dye, and just popped a fabric ruffle and some buttons on and back in the back. So I hope you've enjoyed the flip through of my first junk journal. I hope to make more. I've really enjoyed this. And really that's all for today, so thanks for stopping by. Bye bye.